moving on to comics, just do a little transition here. We may just cut and then do it depending on how long the clip is.
No problem.
So for comics, tell me about you got any history with comics, or you know, any favorites that kind of going back?
So for me, and I think that it has to do with like being born in our era, like coming up in the 80s and 90s. I think that for me, comics can mean two things. So before the 80s, comics always meant the print publication.
Sure, right on.
Coming into the 90s, where comic book movies started to be, the turn of the century, I should say, comic movies started becoming more mainstream and more successful and everything.
Yep.
It started to mean movies and publications, you know?
Right on.
So for me, my introduction to the print form in the 80s was Spider-Man,
Yep.
as well as in 90 Black Panther.
Sure.
So it's just so great, you know, later on in life, seeing the comics come to life.
It is.
It's just so fun. It's just so entertaining.
It's awesome, yeah.
I would say one of my first inspirations was also the Richard Donner directed Superman.
Yeah.
Just the effects, like by
What year was that? Do you have?
that was roughly 76, 77.
Okay, so yeah, so that was the first movie, first superhero movie that I remember seeing in the theater.
Nice,
It had
excellent.
Christopher Reeve.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah, and I mean that was just
Classic.
like, yeah, it was awesome, and it was just like, it was mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool that that was an influence on you. So you came up through the Michael Keaton Batman.
Exactly, all of that, yeah.
And I really, whenever they kind of rebooted the Batman with the Dark Knight series,
Okay.
that to me was just like a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. And for me, like, when I look at the game changers during my lifetime, I was born in 80.
Okay.
So, like, the biggest game changers that I saw was in 99 with Blade.
Oh yeah.
So it was almost like they kicked it up that extra notch, you know.
Sure.
They brought like that comic book action, but they went a little darker, you know, like the PG-13 rating and everything.
Right.
And then another movie that influenced me very heavily with the comics was M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable.
Okay.
So you know, I hope it's not a spoiler. You know, we gave you the 21-year cushion.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. 21-year cushion. I like it.
But in that movie, it was the truest origin story of all time in comic book movies, you know? The movie literally wasn't even marketed as a comic book movie.
Right. Yeah.
You're watching it essentially as a man who survives a horrible accident, unharmed, unscathed.
Yeah.
And he's trying to find out, what does that mean? He meets this mysterious guy that's trying to help him understand, what does that mean? What have you been longing for?
Yeah.
And if you just stop right there and you look at the ideas of that, it's what a lot of us go through. You know, it's a big part of our journey, even into our Christian journey, our Christian walk, you know?
Search for meaning.
Exactly. So for that movie to unfurl like that in such an organic way, you know, and then for the twist to come in at the end that, you know, he may very well be unbreakable, you know, he
Right.
might be something different.
Yeah.
I mean, it was flawless. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, M. Night Shyamalan's like, he's a local guy, Philly, right?
Oh, yeah.
And really came in, and he's famous for having that, you think you're going down one path and then kind of take you off on a hard right there.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I was an extra on one of his films too.
No kidding, which one?
So I went to film school at Temple University.
Okay.
So he was cranking them out, these films out. I was there from '98 to 2002.
Right.
So it was The Happening with Mark Wahlberg.
No kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Just out of curiosity, how did you get tied in with that? Did you just see a sign like
So,
extras wanted, or?
So if anybody's interested in learning how to get on the sets, extras and everything, film.org is the Philadelphia Film Office. They got the easiest website ever, and they
good.
always have listings of extra casting calls and
Okay.
everything. So what'll happen is if it's like a really big major motion picture, particularly one where there's like mystery around it, like an M. Night Shyamalan production, they won't say what it is.
Gotcha.
They'll say large casting call, you know, requesting hundreds, and that's where you know, okay, this might be one of those bigger tentpole movies being
Right.
shot locally.
And do you have to be like a SAG member or anything like that to get in on that?
Absolutely not. You can come right in. In
Okay.
order to get your SAG card, that's the Screen Actors Guild. In order to get your SAG card, you have to have a speaking role in 2 productions, you know. So in that regard, I didn't speak. Oh, one more thing about being an extra. Don't expect to make the final cut.
Right, yeah.
It's fun to be there. It's awesome to be there. But yeah, don't tell your friends that you're going to be in it because, they cut everything.
Right on. Sure. Good point. So do you have, a favorite superhero that you kind of identify with? And if so, who and why?
We reference Unbreakable. The main character's name is David Dunn. I would say that may very well be one of my favorite superheroes.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Batman, The Dark Knight, like you mentioned. I mean, I lost my parents at a younger age.
Okay.
And just the way that he went through that too.
Sure.
And what I really like too about Christopher Nolan's films, the Batman Begins, the original one.
Yep.
I remember there was this aspect of it where Bruce Wayne is saying that a man can be destroyed, like flesh and bone can be destroyed, but a symbol doesn't die.
That's
and
right.
a symbol lives on.
Yeah.
Like I try to live that, like and it even gets into our spiritual walk.
Sure.
It's like there is more.
Yep.
The flesh, the shell.
Yep.
There's more than just that, and that also goes into my care for the community. The way that I care about others, I live for others, making sure that all of us are successful.
Amen. That's awesome. And I think one of the things about superheroes is, I really like the origin stories.
Oh, okay.
Because it's kind of like you get to feel like you're invested in them, and you kind of understand their background a little bit. And as just normal people, you can kind of almost project yourself onto that a little bit and say, okay, I can kind of see how, like, if that happened to me, maybe, if I got bit by a spider, if I went through this situation, right? I could kind of, like, I'd like to, I think we put ourselves onto the characters, or at least I do.
No, that's real, yeah.
And then, like, once they almost become like, I'll use the word friends. So then reading about them and seeing what your friends are up to each couple weeks or month or whenever they come out, or seeing them in the films, it's kind of like, it's almost like a way that it's an escapist way that we can kind of be greater than what we are.
Right. And who's your favorite comic character?
So mine's the Silver Surfer.
Nice. Okay.
So are you familiar at all with the?
Lightly, but I always love to learn more.
Sure. So the Silver Surfer, are you familiar with Galactus?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he's the destroyer of planets, right? So he was going to destroy the Silver Surfer's planet of Senla, which was like this beautiful, almost paradise planet, where they had advanced so far. There was no war, there's no violence, no problems, no issues. Everybody got along, and advanced civilization. So they get the word that Galactus is going to destroy the planet, and Silver Surfer's ready to marry his girl. He's just Norrin Rad at that point in time. He's going to marry his girl Shalabal, and they've got this beautiful relationship, and he kind of sells Galactus on this idea of being his herald, to go out and find planets for him that aren't occupied by people that he can destroy, so he can sustain himself, right? Because he needs to eat, right? But so he kind of gave up his whole thing to serve Galactus and also serve other humanity by finding planets that weren't inhabited and that type of thing. So he's a very noble character and almost Christ-like. And before I became saved, I kind of locked in with it. And that same, like, hey, this is like, when you start to see this, you think, oh, that's a noble guy. I'd like to do that in that situation, right? And it kind of makes you more than what you are. And makes you raise your game because you see this noble character do that, right? So I kind of identified with him as, before I was saved. And then went through some stuff and kind of bottomed out in life in a lot of respects. And then God sometimes does that to get our attention, right?
Amen.
So then when I came back, I've got, I'm saved, I'm healed in the Lord, and I was able to kind of look at it from a Christian perspective and say, wow, this guy is not, he's really almost Christ-like in his representation. So it kind of hit me in a lot of different ways, and it's been with me for some time. So going back, that's a long answer to a short question.
No, that's beautiful, man. I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
wow.
Sure.